This afternoon from Hershey Park Stadium, PCN presents the PIAA Boys 1A Soccer Championship. The matchup features the 23-1 Moravian Academy Lions and the 19-2 Bears from Winchester Thurston Academy. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Our weekend of championships continues here on PCN alongside Brian Kaiser. My name is Bob McCool. Windy and cold is the temperature here in Hershey Park Stadium, but soccer is on the table, and we have two teams. Very often we get to this stage and you get some contrasting styles of play. Not the case with these two teams. The Bears and Lions have been prolific goal-scoring teams throughout the year, Brian, and you got to figure that's the plan of attack today as well.
Every time we have a game like this, we go out there thinking we're going to have a lot of goals today. I would be shocked if we don't, but let's hope that actually happens. These teams want to get after it. They want to attack. They want to use the width of the field, and they are excited to be here in a state championship game on a wide field like we have here in Hershey. They want to use that speed.
And that's exactly what Bob Hartman and Moravian Academy thinks, and he thinks with Austin Racinos in the middle of all of that, he's got himself a great edge.
Austin Racinos, a senior, 19 goals, 9 assists, getting Division I interest, highly skilled players, and he's a guy that the opponents always have to focus on. But he's the captain of the team, and he makes everybody around him better. He's the guy who makes things go for Moravian Academy.
For Winchester Thurston, right now in the game of basketball, you also have a hot shooter. Well, Beck Buchanan is a hot scorer right now for the Bears.
He is. He's a guy who has 5 goals in the state playoffs alone, team high 30 on the season, just a junior. But what makes him good, according to his head coach, is he's smart, makes the right sort of runs. He's hungry. He has that goal scorer mentality, and he's really improved around the net. His accuracy, putting things on goal, and understanding the intricacies of the game of forward has made him a dangerous scorer.
We'll find out who gets the top score. It's the Single A Championship, Moravian Academy, Winchester Thurston. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, introduce you to the starting lineups, and get you set for the start of the Single A Championship live right here on PCN.
This is Harrisburg and Hershey, West Shore and Wyomissing, Lancaster and Lingelstown. This is hard-working people, growing families, and Friday night lights. This is hope, heart, and heroes. This is our community at its best. This is the health we need to live the way we want. This is Penn State Health. Learn more at thisisPennStateHealth.org.
Welcome back. Moravian Academy again 23-1 on the season. Winchester Thurston 19-2 on the season. And both teams losing to teams they know pretty well. Moravian Academy losing their lone game coming all the way back in September. It was to Northwestern Lehigh, another team in the Colonial League, the home league for Moravian Academy. And for Winchester Thurston, a team they know very well as well. Greensburg Central Catholic, their lone 2 losses coming to the Centurions. Actually, they are 2-2 against Greensburg Central Catholic. Played them twice during the regular season and played them twice in the playoffs, once in the WPIAL playoffs and again in the PIAA playoffs, and beating them in the semifinals. So by overall record, they are 2-2 against Greensburg Central Catholic, but they get the last laugh because they get the win in the semifinals.
They're the ones that are here right now, and that's the important game more than anything else. Although you'll hear so many people also say that out west, the WPIAL Championship holds pretty much just as much weight. So each one has a little bit of the piece, but now for it to really matter for Winchester Thurston, they have to win this game here against Moravian Academy, because you want to have the gold medal when you come out of here. You've got 2 teams, and how important is it for 2 squads to have such fierce rivals that are going to test you and also make you prove your mettle? And I think both these coaches, Bob Hartman of Moravian Academy and Adam Brownold of Winchester Thurston, would probably agree that the losses that they had earlier this season to their rivals made these teams better and made these teams prepared to have a championship opportunity.
They go out, they test themselves to the best of their abilities for a chance to make a postseason run, and that's obviously what they have done to get to the postseason. And now looking for the ultimate prize in PIAA sports, the state championship in the Single A classification. Moravian Academy out of Bethlehem in the Lehigh Valley. Winchester Thurston out of the city of Pittsburgh. As Brian said, they are part of the WPIAL. They lost in the WPIAL Championship to Greensburg Central Catholic, but again beat Greensburg Central Catholic in the semifinal to get here. Moravian Academy with a win over Doc Mennonite, a past champion. Moravian Academy was here in 2014, won the single A championship. Winchester Thurston, the Bears are here for the first time, and we'll give you a chance now to get yourself familiar with both teams. Winchester Thurston, Moravian Academy. Ryan Hartman, voice here at Hershey Park Stadium, will introduce you to the starting lineups.
They represent District 11, a record of 23 wins and 1 loss. Welcome the Lions of Moravian Academy. Their opponent, representing District 7, a record of 19 wins and 2 losses. Welcome the Bears of Winchester Thurston. Your championship officials are Todd Fisher, Christopher Fry, and Justin Harmer. And now let's meet the starting lineups for today's game. First off, for Moravian Academy, their head coach, Bob Hartman. Here's the starting lineup for the Lions. Starting in goal, senior wearing 0, Ethan Buck. Senior defender number 6, Cyrus Elmy. Senior defender number 36, Tom Fegley. At forward, wearing number 9, senior Julius Iwankum. Senior forward number 8, Austin Racinos. In the midfield, a senior number 14, Avi Singh. On defense, wearing number 10, junior Nikhil Matra. Junior midfielder number 2, Abraham McWilliams. Midfielder, a sophomore number 23, Archie DeBacci. Sophomore midfielder number 17, Gennaro Mazzella. Freshman midfielder number 4, Trey Sheeler. The Lions of Moravian Academy. And now here's the starting lineup for Winchester Thurston. Their head coach, Adam Brownold. Here's the starting lineup for the Bears. Starting in goal, senior number 99, Morgan Graham. We're number 3, junior defender, Ben Guccio. Sophomore midfielder number 5, Grant Robinson. Senior midfielder number 8, Alessandro Mamoli. At striker, a junior number 9, Beck Buchanan. Senior midfielder number 10, Diedrich Paul Slingeman. Striker, a freshman number 12, Alex Housekreck. On defense, sophomore number 13, Lance Nichols. On defense, a freshman number 20, Thomas Vatruba Druzal. On defense, sophomore number 21, Masi Mamoli. On defense, junior number 25, James Vatruba Druzal. The Bears of Winchester Thurston. And now, ladies and gentlemen, prior to kickoff, we ask that you please rise as we honor the United States of America with the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, to be sung this afternoon by Tri-Valley senior Maya Weary and junior Jensen Bolich.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free
championship, obviously the elements will be the key, will be one of the keys to today's game. Yes, it is sunshiny. You see the shadows coming off the officials and the players on the field, but it is windy, and it is exceptionally windy. Winds blowing as you're watching on your television screens from your left to your right. If you're familiar with the surroundings here at Hershey Park Stadium, I'll say this a lot because it always seems to be the case. If you've been here before, it's always blowing towards the old barn. That always seems to be the case, and that's the way it's blowing to you from left to right across your TV. That's the direction, so whichever team is approaching the goal to the right will have the wind to its back as this game unfolds.
And what that means is teams, if you want to play the ball over the top, you've got to be very careful about it because it's also a fast field. So a ball in the air will probably carry a little bit longer and also will take off when that ball hits the turf. On the other hand, when you're going into the wind, keeping the ball low and also playing possession. Both these coaches basically said what most coaches do at this point. What type of team are you? We're a possession team. Every coach aspires to be a possession team. The question is, are you truly a possession team where you're building the attack and these two teams will try to disrupt the possession of the other?
And the other factor with the wind also could very well be goal kicks, because oftentimes with the wind blowing as strong as it is, and again, for Moravian Academy, they will be going against the wind to start. So each and every time their keeper has the opportunity early on, Ethan Buck, with a goal kick, oftentimes that goal kick could be coming back in the direction. It's going to be a lot shorter than you may assume. Ethan Buck, the keeper for Moravian Academy, you see him there. His counterpart on the other side, Morgan Graham, both seniors between the pipes in this single A championship game. Moravian Academy in the white with the red trunks, and for Winchester Thurston, they are in the all black uniforms with the white trim. We are about to get things started again for this single A championship. Our officials for this championship match, it'll be Todd Fisher, Christopher Fry, and Justin Harmer out of District 10 on the whistles this afternoon as we get it rolling and get under play here in Hershey. That's Diedrich Paul Schlingemann who sends it forward. Talking with their head coach Adam Brownell, he said in terms of skill all around, he is their best player. Buchanan, as we said, has been their hot goal scorer and their leading goal scorer on the season.
Yeah, Schlingemann basically runs their midfield, so he has a lot of responsibility and gets fouled there. So
exactly right at midfield, as a matter of fact, is the early foul called against Moravian Academy, and it'll be Diedrich Paul Schlingemann who will set it in place and then find his place further up the field. As Thomas Drozal, will find it forward.
There are a lot of long names today.
So. And there are three sets of brothers on the Winchester Thurston team as well. The Drozal brothers are back in the backline defense. Thomas is a sophomore and James is a junior. As Moravian Academy clears it and tries to move it forward. Nikhil Namatre finding it forward to the middle of the field for Trey Sheeler.
It's a nice look that time. Looking to spring Racinas coming out of the middle of the field. You got a keeper in Morgan Graham who off his line quickly to cut that sort of thing down. But you're seeing the way that Moravian Academy wants to build out of the midfield.
Austin Racinas and Archie DeBage, their two frontline scorers, both attacking towards the keeper. This one poked away as they get it away from Buchanan and knocked away from him for the time being. Buchanan quickly will pick it back up, toss it back in. Gennaro Mazzella even marking him on the throw-in, and he throws it towards the goal. It's bouncing out loose in front and cleared momentarily by Moravian Academy. Kind of a momentary pause there on that throw-in, and it kind of everybody kind of froze in their tracks. Buchanan will try it again. This one from a little bit more of a harsh angle, and it just ultimately rolls harmlessly up against the side of the net.
On the previous throw-in, all of the defenders stayed with their mark. They're expecting their goalkeeper to come out and collect that ball. Ethan Buck was frozen back on his line. That's something to keep an eye on as this game goes on. And we've seen many, many times the keepers that tend not to be as aggressive in a game, whether it's their normal nature or it's something that happens because they're in a championship game. Those are the keepers that usually have a little more difficulty acclimating themselves to this type of championship performance level.
We're now 3 minutes in. Moravian Academy moving back the other way. Is Racinos in the middle of the field. He'll clear it up ahead. Last touch by Moravian Academy as Julius Iwunkum tried to maintain control of it for the Lions. Unable to do it. Actually was last touch by Winchester Thurston. So this will be the first corner kick of the game, and it will be in the direction of Moravian Academy. Right in front, goalie got a hand on it, punched it away. It was Archie DeBage who took the corner kick. And Winchester Thurston keeper Morgan Graham didn't make the attempt to catch it, just punched it away. But it was sufficient to deny the opportunity.
He had so many players rushing in that Graham surveyed the situation quickly, recognized that in traffic, smarter just to punch it into an open area and allow his teammates to clear the ball.
Cleared back now by Tom Fegley from Moravian Academy. This is Sheeler, freshman in the middle of the field, looking up ahead for DeBage. DeBage has to come back and get it, fending off the defensive Massey Mamoli, and Mamoli wins the battle and feeds it up ahead. Here's Buchanan trying to outrace a defender. Beck Buchanan will settle things on the far side. Wait for help. And here comes the help. Feeds it off behind. Left-footed shot by Mamoli, and a nice job. Ethan Buck is able to maintain it and cut it down as a nice feed on a little give-and-go action with Massey Mamoli trying to finish it off, but Buck was there for the save.
And the key with the save, no rebound. So no opportunity on the backside for anyone to come in and clean up and get that first goal of the game. Here's that shot. It's a good step over to the left foot, and Buck able to stop it directly in front of him, so nobody was able to come in from the backside.
Very patient approach that time by Winchester Thurston as Beck Buchanan kind of just sat back over the side and said, come on, boys, come on down here and play with me. And Mamoli filling in from the backline defense. Comes up with the opportunity on the shot. 5 minutes into the game, we stay scoreless.
I mean, we're just 5 minutes in this game, but you're seeing the patience that both these teams have on the ball. And both these coaches saying they're possession teams, I believe both of them, because right now you're seeing two teams who are comfortable passing.
Mamoli feeds it up ahead. Off shot, but a great angle. Lance Nichols is there. Ethan Buck, excuse me, is there to field it in the air. Well played by Lance Nichols on the turn and fire, and it was on goal, but Buck was there to field it.
Right. He was trying to cross that ball, to be perfectly honest. He's trying to get those hips around, but with a little bit of wind at his back and also the fact that he couldn't completely get himself square, that became a very dangerous ball that was on frame, and Buck did well really to see it, recognize it early enough that he made it look routine.
Schlingerman wins the battle in the air. Feeds it over to Alessandro Mamoli. Alessandro and Massey Mamoli brothers on this team. Again, there are 3 sets of brothers. Also the Porco brothers on the Winchester Thurston's crew. Under 17-year head coach Adam Brownold. And a whistle and a foul called against Moravian Academy. And give a free opportunity here for Winchester Thurston. And it will be Alex Hoskrecht who will take that opportunity, it would appear, from just inside 30 yards. Headed up in the air, and Buck will intercept it and take it away. I think they were looking for Buchanan on the fill, but Ethan Buck was there first.
Yeah, the first one was redirected elsewhere, and Buchanan trying to come in on the right side, the near side of that play.
Here's Iwonkum trying to make a run down the left side for Moravian Academy. It's poked off his foot, last touched off his foot, and Winchester Thurston will take possession.
And both teams want to push the ball, and the idea of a quick burst up the field, where as soon as the guys get it in the midfield, they're looking to go, distribute, a lot of times trying to get that ball wide and then fill the middle. That way they have an opportunity to cross.
This one is settled by Nikhil Mahatre, but not for long as Buchanan is chasing it back. They'll ultimately send it back to Ethan Buck, who will send it away from Beck Buchanan. Schlingerman will keep it in the offensive half for Winchester Thurston. Feeds it to the right corner, but nobody's there. And it will ultimately harmlessly trickle away, and Moravian Academy will regain possession.
Moravian Academy, a team with a ton of success over the years. We talked about their 2014 state championship when they were able to beat Sewickley Academy. So right now, we're looking at Winchester Thurston's head coach. That's Adam Brownell, 17th year on the bench for them. Team that also has had a lot of success under him, but last qualified for the PIAAs, 2014. So they've missed the tournament for quite some time. Having that opportunity with this current group.
Here's Iwulko trying to run down the right side this time. Lost it for a second, got it back for a second. And now Schlingerman is there to try to intercept it. Kept in play. DeBage put a head on it and really offline. And Morgan Graham said, I've seen enough, and he'll take possession of it and take it away and move everybody out of his path.
The danger man wide, though, Iwulko comes down, allows the ball to get played back once the defense gets sucked in that way, and Sheeler with a good cross to the middle where DeBage just couldn't quite get enough of the redirect towards frame.
Here's Gennaro Mazzello, feeds it up ahead for DeBage, who will work it back to work it forward. This is Avi Singh on the far right side. Here's Sheeler in the middle. Mazzello has it taken off his foot. It'll stay Moravian ball possession. Fegley now will move a little bit more forward.
Many times when you switch the ball on the point of attack like that, you want that wing to really attack quickly on that side. Take advantage of the fact that the defense has to swing everybody that direction.
Mazzello gets a man out of his way. Nice centering pass. DeBage, however, puts a head on it up and over the top, and it remains scoreless.
Archie DeBage, not the tallest guy out there, but man, he finds good spots and gets good position. You see him there, number 23, as here comes the cross inside, and he just finds a little bit of a hole and just can't quite get it down off the head.
It's a beautiful move by the sophomore Mazzello to get himself freed up to center that. But DeBage, as Brian said, did everything he wanted to do, but just couldn't get it on goal. DeBage this time will have it stripped away for the moment by Schlingerman. Schlingerman trying to maintain possession, fends off a couple defenders nicely, and ultimately will give it up ahead to Alessandro Mamoli. Mamoli can't get through the couple of defenders as Sheeler will take it back, feeds it to Racinos. Racinos working in the middle of the field, looking for DeBage, but it's taken off his foot. Nice defense each way and nice offensive moves as well. The skill sets are there. It's a matter of who's going to finish. Well played in the middle of the field by both squads, making one or two defenders miss, but ultimately the pursuit takes it away.
The better of the play, though, here in the opening 10-plus minutes has been with Moravian Academy. They've had a little bit better of the possession, and the other thing is when they have the possession, they're quickly working the ball with passes, and the dribble is getting Winchester Thurston a little bit more into trouble. They're dribbling into where somebody else is coming over to double team, and that's where they're losing some of the possession on their side of things.
Whistle and ball hit the hand of Mazzello, so that will result in a possession back the other way for Winchester Thurston, and we'll get a couple of substitutions as well. Mikado Tomioko will check into the game for Winchester Thurston, and Jordan Poller-Prince will check into the game. Poller-Prince is a sophomore. Tomikio, is a senior. Schlingerman to the left side. Buchanan trying to run it down, cannot, as it's poked away from him by Avi Singh. It'll stay Winchester Thurston possession.
A lot of work being done by DeBage up top, working side to side as a solo striker.
Fegley tries to send it back, unable to do so. Hoskrecht was able to keep it in. A little tic-tac-toe action going on right now from Moravian Academy just to try to get it out of their own defensive half. Racino's all the way back on that defensive half to help out with Singh up ahead to Iwulko.
But the smart play there was by the left wing on that one, as Mazzello was able to switch the point of attack.
Iwulko trying to drive and trying to put it out in front for DeBage, but somebody for Winchester Thurston got a foot on it. It's still out in front, and Mazzella can't get much on it at all, and it will go up and over the top.
And again, Bob, the whole key to that play is they have the possession on the left-hand side. They switch it to the right, and then Iwunkum comes down with that speed that he possesses, is able to get the clean cross in and make another dangerous opportunity for the Lions.
It was Thomas Votrubo-Drazal who got a foot on it for Winchester Thurston because DeBaj was right there to try to cash in on a beautiful centering pass by Iwunkum. But Winchester Thurston is able to deny it, and with 26:45 now left to go in the first half, we stay scoreless in this single A championship game. Fagley, excuse me, not Fagley, this time it's Elmy, Cyrus Elmy, who feeds it forward. Mahatri comes up to help out. Here comes Iwunkum again to try his work on the right side again. Finds a spot, has the centering pass, the tip, and it's kicked away again. The backline defense of Winchester Thurston comes up with another one.
There just wasn't enough power on that one, and at the last moment, it was able to be cleared by Thomas Votrubo-Drazal.
That's twice now that he has done that. This one Mazzella will put on, and Graham will take care of this one himself. So his mates have helped him along the back line in the last two. Actually, it was Thomas Votrubo-Drazal both times, and now this time it's Graham who takes matters into his own hands. So Moravian Academy continues to apply the pressure, but so far Winchester Thurston has not allowed it to get through.
Yeah, we've seen a couple shots there, but the danger man has been Iwunkum.
Absolutely.
Who has switched from the left side to the right side, and it's pretty clear they saw something that they wanted him to attack on that side. His physicality along with his speed was an issue on that last play, because that's why he was able to get through. It wasn't just his blazing speed. He used a little bit of physicality to find an opening.
Here is Dale Burkove in the middle of the field trying to make something happen for Moravian Academy. That's quickly cleared away. And the beauty of what Iwunkum has done is, as they'll try to do it again, is he seems to not fear any kind of an angle to be able to get that centering pass. No matter what is left of his run, how much is left of the field, he still has confidence that he can still get it on center, and he's done it brilliantly twice so far. Here off the throw-in. Not much able to happen out of that for Moravian Academy as they fight to keep it in on their offensive half, and are able to do so. 15 minutes in, we stay scoreless. Moravian Academy right now staying on the offensive thrust. Iwunkum this time more to the middle of the field, has it stripped off his foot. Avi Singh will keep it in, along with help from Abraham McWilliams. Bumped and a whistle and a foul as Schlingerman runs into a Moravian player, and that will be the whistle. That will result in an opportunity here for Moravian Academy.
Regular season, you might get a yellow for this one. In the playoffs, they allow a little bit more, but that's a very physical foul from Diedrich Paul Schlingerman.
A 10-on-10 as Mahatre, the player who was knocked to the ground, number 10 for Moravian Academy, knocked down by Schlingerman. And so here from just inside 35 yards out, off the left foot, Mahatre got a head on it, but in the wrong direction for Moravian Academy, and now it comes back in that direction for Winchester Thurston. Iwunkum all the way back on the defensive side now. He is all over this field. First he made a run on the left side early on, now a couple of runs down the right side. Now he's back in the defensive halfback position.
In their free kick situations, because of his speed, they'll put him back there and allow him to just pretty much play sweeper until things work their way out one way or another. They like what he does speed-wise, but they also can use that to their advantage to bring some of their defenders forward on those free kick opportunities.
Winchester Thurston that time trying to feed it up ahead to Tomokio, but it was way too far out ahead. And so as precise as Moravian Academy has been in the last couple minutes, Winchester Thurston really can't get something rolling here on the counter side. And now a ball popped up and gets hit off the hand of Winchester Thurston's Andrew Porco. And so it will be another opportunity here for Moravian Academy to push forward inside of 23 minutes to go in the half.
The midfield for Winchester Thurston is also backed really deep at this point. I mean, they're throwing 6-7 guys back behind the majority of players offensively who are coming up the field for Moravian. So it's almost bunkering down at this point, which I'm very surprised that they're doing defensively, but that's where they're comfortable.
Again, they try to work it into the middle of the field with Schuler and Burkhoff trying to feed it inside for Racinos, but unable to connect on that particular occasion. And Morgan Graham again will kick it away. Graham kicking with the wind to his back. And here comes Winchester Thurston. They'll feed it up ahead. Can Buchanan run close enough to it? Not even close, as Buck comes a long way out to field it, with Beck Buchanan having 2 defenders on either side of him.
And that might be what they have to do in this game offensively. Beck Buchanan with his great speed. Both his goals in the semifinal against Greensburg Central Catholic were breakaways. And they may have to play as a counterpunching, a counterattacking team against a Moravian Academy team that's been on the front foot for most of this first half.
And again now, as they feed it to Racinos, who wanted to try to feed it to an oncoming teammate, but it's cleared away from him. Now settled back by Burkove. Makes a nice move on one defender. Little chip, and it actually will float open over the top. Wanted for this, looking for the centering pass, but it wasn't there. Substitutions again each way. Emilio Alvarado will come into the game now for Moravian Academy. Winchester Thurston will bring Lance Nichols back into the game. And Alessandro Mamoli also back into the game for Winchester Thurston. In case you're wondering, there is no, I'm sure there is a Winchester Thurston, but it is not named after an individual. Winchester Thurston Academy was initially there was a Thurston Prep and there was a Winchester School, and eventually they merged the 2 of them together in 1935 to form Winchester Thurston. Became a co-educational school in 1991. And here are the boys in the state championship for the first time in soccer.
You could have sold me on anybody with a lot of money having the name Winchester Thurston.
I mean, you assume that there's probably some guy named Winchester Thurston who the school's named after. However,
it's a wonderful name for a school.
Absolutely.
It really is.
It's an assumption that is wrong. So I figured I would correct you before you were wrong. Even though I didn't want to give you a chance to be wrong. That's how much I think of you.
Look, I've been watching the Jeopardy Tournaments of Champions. I already feel dumb enough.
Fighting up again. Here comes Moravian Academy trying to find Iwukum on the right side. Not happening this time. But the Lions are able to keep it in with Williams and Singh working on the far side of the field. Now back to the middle. They'll swing it back this way. First with Fagley and now to Alvarado. Halfway through half number 1.
And all of this possession, all it does is it works the ball around. It forces the defense to really work harder than the offense. When you let the ball do the work, it also tires out the defensive team a lot quicker.
Again, they'll center it to the middle of the field. Both Sheeler and Mazzella were there for Moravian Academy, but nothing happening. Alvarado fought off by Hoskrek. Hoskrek and Alvarado still going after it. Hoskrek continues to win the battle. Now he beats another defender in Sheeler, and eventually it's taken away from him.
But notice he's trying to beat with the dribble, and there's just players all over the place and nobody really moving off the ball that time for Hoskrek.
Racinos and Mazzella had a nice little give and go going for a while, but again, that backline defense for Winchester Thurston has been really solid in this first half. Now a little push afterwards as Mazzella got a little frustrated by it all, and he'll get called for the foul.
I mean, give a lot of credit to Winchester Thurston right now. They are really withholding what has been a very good and well-developed attack and have not really allowed a lot of dangerous shots on frame. And the ones that have been, they've been able to clear away.
Massi Momolo pushes it forward for Winchester Thurston, who's been pretty quiet on this offensive half. And again, playing the wind to their back, they'll put a shot on goal, but no problem. Ethan Buck was tested early. Not much of a test there as he scoops that one up easily off the foot of Alessandro Mamoli.
But it's another opportunity, though, and it's one frame. And it's forcing Buck to do something with the ball, and the little short hop there, it actually is hitting exactly where the shooter is attempting to do it, and that is force that keeper to get down low, play the short hop, see if there's a rebound possibility for somebody coming in, and Buck played it very well.
And again, you got to take your advantages while you can, especially with the wind to your back right now for Winchester Thurston. In addition to which, they just really haven't had a lot of possession time in their offensive half. And here we go again with Moravian Academy, with Iwukum again on the outside, working from that right-hand side. Centering pass, this time nobody's home, and it's cleared away. And Moravian Academy will get another opportunity on their half.
And they keep attacking Ben Gutchow over on the other side. And Gutchow, he's got to recognize Iwukum wants to go with that right foot. He's right foot dominant, wants to get down to the touchline. You haven't seen him cut back and play with the left and try to cross over and cut back that way. And it's every single time to the right. You have to take that away from him until he proves otherwise.
Again, this one headed out of there by Alessandro Mamoli, and now cleared out of there for the time being. And again, they do switch Iwunkum back to the back line defense on the stoppages as they bring Cyrus Elmy up front. This time a run on the outside by Buchanan, getting it away from Iwunkum for the time being, but ultimately touched last, and a corner kick opportunity coming up here for the Bears, and a couple of substitutions for Winchester Thurston as well. Grant Robinson is back into the game. Ian Frank, a senior, checks into the game for the first time.
You're going to see speed versus speed coming up here, but Buchanan had done a lot more running on this play, so the guy who had the burst at the end was the guy who ends up knocking it out of bounds, and that being Iwunkum.
So it'll be Hoskrecht who tries the corner kick, and it floats over the head of Buchanan, who tried to time it. Still loose out in front for the time being. Hoskrecht tries to chip it out in front. Nobody could get another foot on it. Lance Nichols was there but could not get to it. And it'll be another corner kick coming up, and Hoskrecht will try it again on the opposite side.
That's why you put somebody on the back post, though. I think that's Avi Singh over there on the back post. As an initial call for handball was not heard by the official. And then eventually the ball went to the near post.
This time Avi Singh gets ahead on it and clears it away from Moravian Academy. And this one will be poked out again off the back line. And now Hoskrecht will run back to the other side. So Hoskrecht is getting his cardio in right now, running from one side to the other for a third straight corner kick coming up for Winchester Thurston.
Yeah, Iwunkum just trying to play the ball to the outside, but took a little bit too hard of a touch.
So he tried it from the right, he tried it from the left, and he was back on the right. This one right up in the front, and Buck skies above the fray and pulls it down.
And just got that a little too close to the keeper. And Buck was maybe a little bit reticent to come off his line earlier in this game. Didn't have to go very far for that one.
And he is all arms and legs and gets above everybody else to pull it down. And dodges the bullet for the time being as we approach 15 minutes now left to go in a scoreless first half. Here comes Iwunkum again. Beats a man. Has a foot race, but again, nobody else had filled in for Moravian Academy, and Iwunkum was just ahead of the pack.
Nobody else could catch him. He's that fast. And he actually played a good ball back, but nobody could get to that spot. And again, it was James Vitruba-Drizal who was able to clear it away.
Fight for possession. Racinos is in the middle of things, but just too many black jerseys around him. Sheeler will keep it in, and Sheeler will feed it in, and Morgan Graham will pick it up on a hop. PIAA Championship games are the exclusive property of the PIAA. Television coverage is licensed to PCN, whose exclusive rights are protected by federal copyright law. Any retransmission of any kind or other use of television coverage of this game without the expressed written consent of PIAA is prohibited by law. Collision sends a Moravian Academy Lion to the deck as player for Winchester Thurston, Ian Frank, runs hard and into. And down goes Cyrus Elmy. He's back up now and will stay in the game. Shaken up momentarily.
He gets there and he establishes position first, and then when the collision happens, because he had the position, he's the one who gets the call. Exactly as we had expected so far. Nothing between two teams who were extremely offensive-minded coming into this game.
And there's a perfect example we were talking about with the win for Elmy. As he kicked that one, it was curling back and ultimately ended up out and took one bounce and bounced into the stands. That's how much the wind gust had gotten a piece of that. Beck Buchanan was out momentarily, give him a breather. He'll come back into the game, and Ian Frank will come out for Winchester Thurston, as the Bears will throw it in. And again, cannot maintain much in terms of possession. Moravian Academy has been the more precise team in this. They've been the more threatening team in this, but it's still scoreless. Now 12 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half.
And each team has had their chances. Moravian, as you've said, have more of them, but it's still a game where I don't think Winchester Thurston feels uncomfortable. They may be on the back foot, really defending a lot more against the possession, but other than Iwunkum, I don't think they feel uncomfortable.
And guess who? Iwunkum makes them, puts on the brakes this time, but ultimately can't shake loose of the defense. Ben Gutschall is getting a workout over there, trying to mark against Iwunkum.
but he had no interest in using the left foot to drop the ball back, and he had an open player who was coming.
McWilliams with the center. Immediately cleared. Hoskrecht. Mamoli. Nicely played by Mamoli, and then he gets tripped up, and that's going to result in a whistle.
That should be a yellow card. They're going to probably get Cyrus Elmy, as this was stopping a goal-scoring opportunity. Makes a great move initially, then gets to the ball next. The slide tackle, really unlucky because he ends up clipping the ankle of Mamoli, who came by, but a tremendous run by Mamoli, and now you're having to sub out one of your center backs for the next 5 minutes because of the cooling off period. And he also, with the yellow card, is going to have to be careful now for the rest of the game when he comes back in a place where you don't necessarily want guys to have to play a little bit more cautiously.
Tom Fegley who started the game and then had come out for a breather right back into the game. As Brian said, with the yellow card, Cyrus Elmy now will sit for the mandatory 5-minute cooling off period. 11:58 left in the first half when he comes out. So Winchester Thurston maintains possession. Hoskrecht with the center. Schlingeman gets a hand on it and it finds the back. Buck got a hand on it, but that was it. But credit Diedrich Paul Schlingeman with a goal.
Great job just elevating into the air. And the Carnegie Mellon recruit tallies the first goal, maybe a little bit against the run of play, but when you have your opportunities on set pieces, you have to take advantage. Great service into the box and just beating the defender to the ball. So it ends up being Hoskrecht, who does a great job to get the ball on target, and he finds his man on the back post. And from there, when he elevated Diedrich Paul Schlingeman, his 27th goal of the season has given the Bears the 1-0 lead.
Comes in the 28th minute. And again, after the scoring run opportunity from Mamoli, Alessandro Mamoli, who was the player for Winchester Thurston who had pushed forward and had his legs cut up from under him and resulted in the yellow card. And so off the set piece, Winchester Thurston is on the board. 11:54, the time of the goal. Diedrich Paul Schlingeman with the goal. As Brian said, number 27 on the season for the senior. And Winchester Thurston draws first blood. Moravian Academy right back to work. Racinos finds Iwuka. Back to Racinos. Racinos will put it on goal. Sawyer got a hand on it and finds the back. Morgan Graham kind of got his feet tangled up with one another, hit off his hands and into the back of the goal. We're even at 1, 30 seconds after the first.
Well, that didn't last long. Iwuka with the assist, but it's one that I'm sure that Graham's going to want back, but it's because you put the ball in frame. And sometimes all you have to do is you have to bend that ball, a little bit of spin on that thing. Graham trying to get to it, and he's outstretched with it, and you get caught as a keeper sometimes. You think, hey, I can make this catch, and sometimes the better thing to do is just try to punch it away. He got caught in between, it slips through the fingers, and now we're tied.
So now 11:20 left to go, 30 seconds apart, 11:54 and then 11:24, the time of the two goals. And we are even at 1 apiece as Racinos gets his 20th of the season.
And now the track meet may be on. Because I think both these teams, it's amazing what a goal or two will do to change the complexion of a game. And all of a sudden, both these teams looking really, really offensive-minded.
Yeah, certainly can bring a different bounce to your step, and we'll see what happens. Here comes Iwuka again, doing what he likes to do, running that right side, centering pass. DeBaj will settle it down. Looks for help in the fill, but it's taken away. Schlingeman poked it off his foot.
He had somebody coming, but might have been better served just to try to turn and fire himself.
Mazzella tried to do the same, but really couldn't get much on it. And this will result in a corner kick coming up for Moravian Academy.
And both of the top goal scorers for their respective teams are the guys who have tallied on the scoreboard. That goal for Racinos is 20th of the season.
Dale Burkove will take the left-footed corner kick for Moravian Academy. Second attempt from the corner for the Lions. A line drive. With Massi Mamoli hit.
That's going to be a penalty kick. That is very unfortunate for Winchester Thurston's Massey Mamoli. He put the leg up, and when he cleared it, the ball hits his foot and comes up and immediately hits his arm, which was at an unnatural position. It was away from the body, and there's really no choice there for the official. And this was a play where it was not a dangerous situation, but it's one that the referee really begrudgingly has to award the PK.
Looks like it's going to be Gennaro Mazzello who will take the penalty kick. And goes right. Keeper gets to his right, and he goes to the keeper's left. Easy pickings, and Moravian Academy takes the lead.
Asking everyone to call him.
Gennaro Mazzello with his 14th of the season, and it's a 2-1 lead, Moravian Academy.
When you get a goal in a state championship game, you're probably going to get a lot of texts and things like that, so the celebration there is warranted, and a fortunate play for Moravian Academy because the corner kick was actually not well taken, but the unfortunate bounce for Winchester Thurston ends up putting them down just like that, 2-1.
So scoreless for the first 27 minutes of this game. And we've now had 3 goals scored in the last 3 minutes, with Moravian Academy scoring the last one on the penalty kick. And as a result of that, Moravian Academy leads for the first time at 2-1.
That's where those earlier games this season, though, with Greensburg Central Catholic, the battles that they've gone through are going to help Winchester Thurston. If you don't have those type of games, you might be shell-shocked at this point. They still might be, but they can really build on that sort of experience that they've had previously, where they've been in a tough fight and they had to come tooth and nail with another team.
Again, they lost to Greensburg Central Catholic in the regular season. They split their 2 games with them in the regular season and lost to them in the WPIAL Championship, but then beat them in the PIAA semifinals. Won that one 2-1.
Yeah, they've got a player, Greensburg Central Catholic, and Nate Ward. He's an Indiana recruit who, along with Schlingerman, 2 of the finest players in the state of Pennsylvania this year.
Schlingerman actually was the divisional player of the year. Again, they play in the same division within the WPIL. That's why they play twice during the regular season, and again, met in the WPIL championship game and in the semifinals. So they know each other extraordinarily well and battle test one another to get here. Winchester Thurston is a program that has certainly been building under Adam Brownwald, and in here for the first time in a state championship game. Right now they find themselves down 2-1 with 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first half.
And they've only given up 10 goals all season coming into this game. So the fact that 2 goals scored in quick succession like that is probably a little unsettling also.
Only gave up 1 goal in this PIAA playoff run, and that was in the semifinal to the Centurions. They shut out Bishop Carroll in the first round. They shut out Lancaster Country Day in the quarterfinals. Beck Buchanan to Mamoli. Mamoli will run to the middle of the field as Schlingerman behind him. And will settle it off to the left-hand side instead. They'll give and go back for Alessandro Mamoli. Trying to work his way around the defender. Kicked away from him, and a corner kick again coming up for Winchester Thurston.
And we've seen this is where Winchester Thurston in this game has been more dangerous, is on these set pieces. They got a goal off the free kick. They had a couple other opportunities off of the corner kicks earlier. And Hoskracht will take this corner again.
His 4th attempt. And this one kind of misfired that one, and it takes a hop and hits the side of the net. So a lost opportunity there for Winchester Thurston with 7 minutes left to go in the first half. Score remains Moravian Academy 2, Winchester Thurston 1. Sinos to DeBage. Zella gives it up to Burkhoff, who gives it back for Alvarado. A Sheeler in the middle with a little bit of room to run. Tries to chip ahead, but nobody there. Winchester Thurston will let that harmlessly roll away, and a goal kick instead for the Winchester Thurston Bears.
And Moravian Academy is a team that, you know, they have that pedigree of championships. Bob Hartman's the Coach of the Year back in 2014 and has done a great job with the squad. And the thing that the players say about him is that he's a player's coach. And you don't have necessarily a ton of those at the high school level, but he's a guy who communicates well with his team, very supportive of them. These guys will run through a wall for this guy.
19 seasons he's been at Moravian Academy. He's won 286 games in his time. There you see him in the middle of the other two assistant coaches around him. The one without the hat was Bob Hartman. He's 286, 95, and 9 in 19 seasons coaching for Moravian Academy. They play out of the Colonial League in District 11, where they were District 11 champions for the 7th time.
And actually, their division more difficult, really, than sort of the competition they get sometimes at the state level, because they play some of the higher classification teams out of that Colonial League.
Like Northwestern Lehigh, who beat them, their lone loss of the season. Northwestern Lehigh was here a couple years ago, a couple times at higher classifications.
Lost the AAA championship back-to-back years to Lower Dauphin, who's going to be in our AAA championship tonight.
And he's scheduled for a 6:30 start time. Remind you, the girls' AAA game will follow this one. That'll be Villa Joseph Marie against Mars. Christy Fulkerson and Cassie Schmidt will be there back in the booth for the call of the girls' AAA game to follow this one. It's scheduled for a 4 o'clock start. As Brian said, Strathaven, Lower Dauphin will square off for the boys' AAA championship to conclude our weekend of soccer championships, but not our weekend of championships here on PCN. Again, we'll have coverage of the field hockey state championships and the volleyball state championships beginning at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Again, Ewukum working through on the right side. Schlingerman tried to clear it, could not keep it in, and it's going to be a corner kick coming up from Moravian Academy. A couple of substitutions for Moravian Academy as well. Trey Sheeler back into the game, and Cyrus Elmy has now served his 5 minutes of downtime after the yellow card, so he too will return.
And he'll immediately go up front for the set piece opportunity.
Yeah, well timed in terms of the substitution. And again, the man taking the corner kick is the left-footed Dale Burkov.
And notice the difference between the last time that Massey Mamoli went after the ball over there on the side, and this time hands firmly behind his back.
Yeah, not going to get me again with that line drive that hit off his foot, bounced unfortunately for him off his hand, and it did so. It set up a penalty kick as a result.
Nightmare for any defender, and it's something that it happens. It's part of the game of soccer, unfortunately.
This time it's Mazzella who will try it. Elmy got a head on it, and in the middle of it all was Burkov, who is now playing in the goal mouth instead, but it's last touched again by Winchester Thurston. So now another corner kick coming up from Moravian Academy. Here he'll see it again.
They knotted the initial one down, and as you said, at the end of that play, it was Burkov.
Chipped up. Unfortunately, Mahatre could not keep it in possession for Moravian Academy, and it's cleared out of there by Winchester Thurston.
Mahatre is a guy who's really usually pretty dominant for this team in the air. It was surprising. He was actually the guy who was marking on the Winchester Thurston goal and may have been surprised by the elevation of Schlingerman, because that's usually a place where he is a standout for Moravian Academy.
Down to 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first half. Winchester Thurston jumped out on top 1-0. Moravian Academy got the equalizer 30 seconds later and then goes in on top on the penalty kick at 9:52 left to go in the first half. That's where we stand, 2-1. Moravian Academy on top of Winchester Thurston. You're watching the boys 1A soccer championship live here on PCN. Flurry in the middle. Mamoli comes through with it, got it for a second, still almost got through it. Alessandro Mamoli working his way through a traffic jam out in the middle of the field and almost got it through all by himself.
Yeah, I really liked what he's doing off the dribble. He's made a couple guys miss on separate runs of his own, just looking for that last touch to be able to either get by himself or be able to find a teammate who's in a scoring situation.
And here he is in the middle again. Two defenders on either side of him, so he'll work it back and then get it back. Tries to run and save it before running in towards the Moravian bench. Kind of boxed out a little bit there by Tom Fegley. And Fegley will get possession back as a result from Moravian Academy.
I like the soccer IQ of both these teams, Bob. I mean, you take a look at what they do. They make good runs, a lot of good decision making, just reading the play very well. These are two smart teams, well coached.
Yeah, you're not seeing a whole lot of kick and chase or just dump and run it down kind of kind of a format. They have a mission in their mind when the ball's on their foot.
Their coaches were not lying about saying they want to play possession soccer. It's one of the rare.
Sooner or later, one of them would be accurate when they told you that.
Eventually, somebody actually tells the truth about it, and both these coaches did. I mean, that's what they want to do, and that's what they do very well. But they, Winchester Thurston, in the beginning part of this game, wasn't able to do that because of how well Moravian Academy was being able to do that. Now that they've had a little bit more of the ball here towards the last part of this first half, we're seeing more of that come out.
Last 30 seconds now of the first half. And Schlingerman trying to anticipate the passing of Moravian Academy. But the Lions have ultimately keep possession of it. Racinos will just send this one forward. Morgan Graham will let it go and bounce away. And the final seconds will tick down. Graham will set it, but probably not even bother to kick it. Well, he'll kick it once and let it go, and that will bring the first half to a conclusion. So we expected that we could see some goals in this Single A championship, and we have. They all came within about 3 minutes of one another, and the last one separating the two. That was the penalty kick by Gennaro Mazzella that sends Moravian to the locker room with the lead after 40 minutes of soccer in the Single A championship. Moravian Academy 2, Winchester Thurston 1. We'll take a timeout, come back with more at halftime after this. You're watching the Single A championship of soccer on PCN. State championships, and alongside Brian Kaiser, my name is Bob McCool. It is halftime of the Single A championship, and we talk going into this game between Winchester Thurston, the District 7 runner-up, and Moravian Academy, the District 11 champion. We thought we could see some action in this game. It took a little while for the teams to finally find the pace, but they did. We ultimately see 3 goals. Winchester Thurston scores first, but Moravian Academy got the last laugh, at least through the first half.
A very quick response from Moravian Academy, but we had great paced action from the very beginning of this one. Both teams creating chances. A little bit more better the play was Moravian Academy, but both keepers having to come up big, also getting some clearances like this one off the back line by defenders, and all of a sudden Dietrich Paul Schlingerman with the goal off of a header, and we were off. Right after that, Austin Racinos finds the back of the net, and then the unfortunate play there at the end of the half where Momoli ends up having it go off his hand. And then you have the penalty kick goal, and all of a sudden now we have a lead here at halftime for Moravian Academy. I think technically, if you would look at it right now, Bob, 2-1 would be fair considering what the action was we saw in the first half. Moravian Academy had a little bit better of the play, and they ended up having to come from behind to do so, but still 2-1 is pretty fair considering what the action was we saw.
And I think the irony of it all is that Moravian Academy was so precise in their attack throughout that first half, and ultimately their 2 goals were kind of scored off of mistakes in one way or another. And on the flip side of it, Winchester Thurston's score was off very precise ball movement.
It was, and we're seeing very, very skilled players from both these teams. Owuncom has been absolutely fantastic in that first half. He set up and got the assist on the Racinos goal for Moravian Academy. He's been the biggest danger player on the side for Moravian Academy. On the other side, you can see why Dietrich Paul Schlingerman is the player that he is. They need to find a little bit more help up top. See if they can find some of their faster players, maybe get a breakaway somewhere, get this thing even early. We may have one heck of a barn burner.
We'll find out very shortly. The second half will get underway when we come back to Hershey Park Stadium. You're watching the boys Single A Soccer State Championship game live on PCN. Final warm-ups. Actually, Winchester Thurston is out and warming up. Moravian Academy still abiding by the warmth of the locker room, and they have not yet returned from the locker room. As we have about 60 seconds or so before we start the second half. I remind you, we got a lot more soccer coverage coming your way. The girls AAA championship game that is set for a 4 o'clock start. Villa Joseph Marie and Mars will go after one another in the AAA championship. Christy Fulkerson and Cassie Schmidt will have the call of the game for you coming up for us here on PCN. And Brian will be back for the AAA Boys Championship. That'll be Strathaven against Lower Dolphin. Squaring off for the AAA Championship, that is scheduled for a 6:30 start time. And if you want to watch some football, you can do that tonight. Kutztown Slippery Rock squaring off in the PSAC Football Championship. We'll have that one for you on a tape-delayed basis coming up tonight following our soccer coverage. And then some more high school state championship coverage for you tomorrow. It starts with the Field Hockey State Championships bright and early tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. is the start time. 8, 10, and 12. Single, double, and triple. That is the order of things in the Field Hockey State Championships tomorrow. And then we'll start the volleyball. Girls volleyball, that is. Girls volleyball state championship coverage will follow and conclude all the way up. So championship weekend here on PCN. All day yesterday, all day today, and all day tomorrow as well. Watch yourselves a lot of state championships right here on PCN.
And congratulations to Camp Hill. Girls win the single A state championship earlier 2-0 against Shadyside Academy. Incidentally, Winchester Thurston, that's where they practiced yesterday. They were over at Camp Hill's turf field to get ready for this one. So little link between those single A schools there. Camp Hill boys program had been dominant a few years ago. But now it is Moravian Academy and Winchester Thurston who will, one of them will lift gold after this next half. And we really anticipate both teams. I don't know that you really have to make a lot of adjustments. I mean, you saw both teams sort of come out of their shell a little bit more with the explosive way that they play after the first goal was scored.
And again, Moravian Academy a little bit late getting out of the locker room. Not sure what the story was there for the Lions, if they just want to stay warmer a little bit longer or they were just caught off guard. But
I am not going to blame anybody for trying to stay warm on a day like today.
No, it's called survival of the fittest at this particular point in time. Again, it has been a cold and windy afternoon here at Hershey Park Stadium. Even by Hershey Park Stadium standards, it's been a cold and windy afternoon. Yesterday it was a sunny and warm afternoon. It got a little bit crisper as the night went on, but the wind has been the difference maker. It has not really had a major impact on this game as we thought it potentially could. But for the most part, the wind has not factored into the play in any way. But right now, it is a 2-1 game in favor of Moravian Academy, and we are set to start half number 2. Again, it is the Lions of Moravian Academy in the white with the red shorts, and Winchester Thurston out of the WPIAL all in black with the white trim. So they flip sides quite obviously, and Moravian Academy now will approach with the wind at their back for half number 2.
In that first half of play, Moravian Academy did a really nice job of possessing the ball and also working the ball side to side. We didn't get to see that as much out of Winchester Thurston. They early tried to attack on the wing, but didn't have enough of the possession after that. And I think that's one of the main things that they're going to want to try to do in this second half. Try to get the ball wide, see if they can get a little bit more possession, and try to free up some of the players up front that have been so dangerous.
There's Racinos in the middle of things, leaves it ahead for DeBage, and he cannot quite get free, but it's last touched by Winchester Thurston. And so DeBage will head to the corner for a corner kick coming up from Moravian Academy, their 6th of the afternoon.
Just a sophomore, but he's done a very good job of just finding little holes in the middle of the defense to make himself a little bit more dangerous.
And with his hands tied behind his back after the unfortunate incident, Massey Mamoli cleared it initially for Winchester Thurston. Now is a flurry out in the front, and then eventually it'll be Elmy who will, it will be Fegley who will settle it and keep it in for Moravian Academy. Avi Singh gets it inside. Mahatre got a head on it.
Bears just can't get it completely cleared. And I think that's because they're so compact right now that they don't have that next guy when they get it to the next level to be able to continue and move the ball out.
Gennaro Mazzella, who's been very, very active for Moravian Academy, and he's the one who had the penalty kick that has separated the two. His penalty kick goal, his 14th of the season. Kind of in the middle of things, in the middle of the field for Moravian Academy. Here comes Alessandro Mamoli, who's done the same type of work for Winchester Thurston. He feeds it on the left for Alex Hoskrecht. Hoskrecht back to the middle of the field for Diedrich Paul Schlingemann. To the near side for Grant Robinson. Robinson with the left footer, knocked off his foot. Avi Singh with the diving tackle. It'll be a corner kick coming up for Winchester Thurston. It'll be their 5th.
Good defense from Singh forces the corner, but still, it's a very good look by Schlingmann getting the ball wide, and Grant Robinson, sophomore, who's very talented, good at setting things the table for people with those crosses.
Hoskrecht again with that corner kick, and he puts that right out in front, and it's cleared out of there by Moravian Academy, and shaken up on the play a little bit. Clearing it out was Nikhil Mahatre. He will get himself back up, and Hoskrecht will get another opportunity, this time trying to go for the opposite side. Schlingmann again tries to get above everybody else, gets a head on it, but can't get it on the goal mouth, and it rolls harmlessly away.
I don't think there's any question you want to look to in the air at this point. Schlingmann has proven himself, not just with the goal, but with what he does elsewhere. Very tall, very sturdy out there in that midfield.
3.5 minutes into half number 2. 43 minutes into the soccer game, and it stays 2-1. Moravian Academy on top. Singh for Iwukum. Doing what he likes to do. Iwukum working on the right side. One defender by, second defender by, and ultimately it'll lead to another corner kick for Moravian Academy. Julius Iwukum working the right side of the pitch, as he has done time and time this afternoon. Will leave himself and his team a corner kick opportunity, and again it will be Archie DeBage who will attempt the corner.
Archie DeBage taking the kick.
Head on it initially by Elmy.
It's the right idea there too. You play that one to the near post, but away from goal. Try to redirect that ball to the back post and see if you can get the defense out of position.
Again, Alessandro Mamoli on a run, gets it on the foot of Beck Buchanan, but not for long. Beck Buchanan has been held silent tonight. Really has not gotten much of an opportunity at all in Winchester Thurston's offensive look.
That was a good tackle by Tom Fegley, who was able to take the ball away from him.
Schlingmann moves up ahead, gets himself in the middle of things. Kept in by Lance Nichols. Well played again by Hoskrecht. Now cleared up ahead by Mahatre.
You don't need to go down there,
And this time Ben Gacha will prevent Iwukum from making another run, but it will stay in Moravian's possession.
There's Bob Hartman again, right there in the front of your screen. Gives his players a lot of latitude here. They make a lot of decisions.
He'll have Avi Singh throw this into play. For Mazzella. Back to Singh with a chip. And Morgan Sawyer says, Morgan Graham, excuse me, says, I'll take care of this.
Yeah, good communication that time, because Schlingmann was just about to elevate, and Graham calls him off. Knowing he doesn't have any pressure behind him, is able to just get that one cleanly.
Racinos cleared quickly and nicely as well by Massey Mamoli.
If you look at the two goals from Moravian Academy, I think Winchester Thurston has to feel a little bit snake bit, because goalie had his hands on one of them. The other one was a penalty kick because of a bad bounce. I mean, that's how close this game is to having Winchester Thurston be in the lead. Be a dangerous play. Foot was up that time from Buchanan.
So Moravian Academy will get to keep it in its offensive half as a result. And we'll see that whistle right here, or what resulted in that whistle.
Yeah, when you have another player who's actually challenging with the head, can't bring that foot up above the waist level.
Flurry out in front, Graham out of position, but there to clear it away. Winchester Thurston gets it out of any harm's way. And there is a Moravian player shaken up for a moment, but very quickly back up and on his feet is Trey Sheeler.
Graham sort of hesitated just a little bit, and that made him get there a little bit late. Cross from Mahatre, sends the ball in. You see, there's Graham just getting there a little bit late, and that's why we had the collision.
Iwukum tries to spin away from one defender, but a second defender, Grant Robinson, is there to strip it off his foot. Mamoli will send it back towards the middle of the field.
You've got to make Owuncom go to his left. Does not want to go there, and when he does that, now you also bring other defenders in to help.
Here's Racinos in the middle of the field. Has some separation, but fires it over the top. Off the left foot. Austin Racinos just got it a little bit too high and couldn't get it on goal, and danger averted. And a substitution as well from Moravian Academy as Dale Burkove will check back in.
Little step over move there. Puts the left foot in the All-State forward from a year ago. Probably going to be, we'd have to think he's going to be All-State again this year. 2 times on that list is going to be very impressive, and Racinos just missing his second goal of the game.
Racinos had 2 goals and 2 assists in the district championship win for Moravian Academy. They beat Schuylkill Haven in the District 11 championship game, with Racinos getting 2 goals and assisted on 2 of the other goals in the process. Also scored in the quarterfinals in the win over York Catholic. That was a 4-0 victory for Moravian Academy. They also beat Doc Mennonite in the semifinals by the identical 4-0 score. And Racinos had a goal in that one as well. We are 8.5 minutes into half number 2, 48+ minutes of soccer so far in the boys single A championship. Moravian Academy on top still by a 2-1 difference.
Yeah, Racinos is the main guy as far as their scoring, but they're a very balanced team. A lot of different guys scoring. Nobody with multiple goals here in the state playoffs in any specific game.
There's Burkhoff trying to make something happen by himself on the other end, but gets it knocked away. But he'll get a corner kick as a result, and that's what Burkhoff has done a lot for this team today, taking a significant percentage of their now 8 corner kicks.
Number 11. Dale Burkhoff.
Dale Burkhoff, the junior, the left footer. Head out of there by Winchester Thurston. It was James Botruba-Drizal on there first. Elmy. Back to McWilliams. To Racinos. Back outside for McWilliams. Can he get it before it goes out of off the sideline? He cannot. Winchester Thurston quickly gets it back in. Working right in front of the Moravian bench.
Austin, you gotta move. Austin, find me, come on.
Williams with the left footer. Cleared out of there, Winchester Thurston, but another corner kick coming up for the Lions.
Continuing to be dangerous, and that is getting the ball wide, continuing to attack this right-hand side. That has been the focal point for much of this game. And even though Owuncom, who's done a lot of that damage, because they were up front with the corner kick, they had not adjusted back, but they still continued to go to this right-hand side.
Now they go with the short corner instead, with Burkhoff coming up. Again, they'll chip it in, headed away, and this time it was Mahatre who got a head on it. Tried to kind of force that one in, but could not get it in on goal. And substitution coming in for Winchester Thurston is Jordan Pollard-Prince, sophomore, will check in.
Love the play, though. They go with the short corner, and it gives a different angle and a more direct angle where the line drive able to be played that time in off the cross by Burkove. And he ends up finding the head. Mahatre's not going to get a better opportunity than this one. He's right there in perfect position. Ball sneaks underneath. Wants that one back.
There's Racinos to the middle of the field with Mazzella to his left. It's stripped off of his foot. As Hoskrecht will make a run with it.
But he's trying to dribble through the midfield. And so far what I've seen in the second half from Winchester Thurston is a lot of the balls that have been in the back, they've tried to circumvent the midfield. They've gone up the wing and tried to go long, and that hasn't worked very well. And when they've gotten the ball in the midfield, they've tried to dribble through defenders, and that also hasn't worked.
Mazzella leaves it for the corner for Owuncom. Owuncom again with that centering pass. Couldn't get any height on that one. But it will stay in Moravian Academy's possession. 52 minutes in. 80 minutes of soccer in the high school action. Here's one headed by Burkhoff, but right at the keeper, Morgan Graham, no problem.
The reverse of the last corner kick situation where Burkhoff set up Mahatre. This time Mahatre's setting up Burkhoff, and he's able to get a ball on frame, but it was directly at the keeper. Beautiful ball from Mahatre. The crosses of this team are exquisite.
.27-20 now remaining. Again, all the scoring coming within about 3 minutes of one another. Winchester Thurston got the first one. 30 seconds later, Racinos got the equalizer for Moravian Academy. The difference right now, a penalty kick. Here comes Iwukum. Ball misplayed, and Iwukum has a little bit of space. Again to his right side. Chases it off the back line and cannot get there. And Iwukum a little frustrated that he could not gain possession, and trying to get you off at least another pass, if not a shot of his own.
Well, Massey Mamoli did a good job of helping out defensively, came in, and picked up the man, and Iwukum trying to get by him, just a little too hard on the touch.
Moravian Academy again will be awarded. Ball in play.
7 straight district titles for Moravian Academy. And they have been dominant in District 11. They've had opportunities. Last year, they ended up losing to the eventual champions Millville, and were able to get that win back in the first round this year.
A run for Winchester Thurston doesn't get very far as Tom Fegley ultimately steals it away and back the other way for Moravian Academy. Another substitution. Winchester Thurston will send Lance Nichols back into the game.
The thing as a coach, you want to try to finesse at this point is your substitution pattern, because you want to try to get it to the point where you have certain personnel available as you get to the key part of the game, depending on the situation of the game too. You know, whether you're ahead, whether you're tied, whether you're behind. So you really have to finesse that and try to keep guys who normally get breaks, maybe give them breaks a little bit earlier in a championship game like this.
Nichols coming back in. Andrew Porco comes out for the substitution, an exchange of sophomores for Winchester Thurston. Schlingerman tries for the long pass, but it's taken away instead by Avi Singh. Singh up ahead to Racinos. Racinos patiently waits for Iwukum, but Iwukum had kind of given up on where he was going, and the pass too far out in front. And goal kick coming up instead for Winchester Thurston.
Look at the great turn that time by Racinos. And he sees the run being made, and Iwukum had to slow it down a little bit because he saw that the angle wasn't going to be a good one. So he was going to go bounce out to the outside, and Racinos had already committed.
Whistle and a foul call and a trip called against against Moravian Academy, as you see the two players collide.
Trey Sheeler is the guy who got there a little bit late, ends up taking down Alex Koskrecht.
Winchester Thurston with Diedrich Paul Schlingerman sending it back into the offensive half for the Bears. And pretty quiet on their offensive end in this second half. Again, dump chased into the corner. Grant Robinson will chase it. Avi Singh will fend him off. And we'll bounce it off of Robinson, and a goal kick coming up for Moravian Academy.
They're trying to attack this left-hand side now with Robinson, and you've seen a few possessions now where Schlingerman's gotten the ball in the middle and has tried to play longer passes out to the outside, trying to use the ability of Robinson to run onto a ball. Avi Singh has been up to the challenge the last couple times.
Again, Moravian Academy will throw it. Winchester Thurston forced to play defensive mode on all these throw-ins, trying to prevent anything moving forward, as Schlingerman does here. Robinson fending off with Mazzella.
The question also, because the team who's had the better of the possession so far has been Moravian Academy. They forced a lot more chasing defensively. As far as the stamina right now for Winchester Thurston, are they going to have the stamina to make that big push at the end of the game because of all the defensive things that they've had to do so far in this game?
Beck, Buchanan, Schlingerman, Robinson. Robinson on the left side. Mahatre takes it off of his foot. And this time it will stay in the possession of Winchester Thurston. Or will it? Nope. It will be last touch by the Bears.
Robinson got a piece of that one on the way by.
Inside of 22 minutes remaining in this single A soccer match. Winchester Thurston has never been on the state championship stage before. Moravian Academy was here one time. It was in 2014, and they beat Sewickley Academy 4-0 in that 1A championship. School's only soccer state championship.
I would not be surprised to see Winchester Thurston back, though. I mean, they've got a lot of youth, a lot of good players that are underclassmen.
Starting keeper Morgan Graham is a senior. Alessandro Mamoli is a senior. And Dietrich Paul Schlingerman also a senior. And that is it in the starting crew for Adam Brownold.
Those are three pretty good players. You're losing two all WPIAL players in Mamoli and Schlingerman. And then your keeper, I think any coach knows that if you've got a good keeper, you know, it's a blessing. Because so many times your better soccer players, your keepers tend sometimes to be guys who get converted there because you need somebody who has some skills there. If you have somebody who's a really good one, you take advantage of that and ride them as far as you can. How many times have we seen freshmen as keepers who we've seen maybe 1 year and they come back later on as seniors if their team gets back here? But I mean, that's a position where the second you have somebody who has been trained as a goalkeeper for their soccer career, it is something that is a very, very useful thing for a coach.
Here comes a senior off the bench for Winchester Thurston to get some more minutes here in the second half. That's Makoto Tomokio. As we approach the halfway mark of the second half. Here's Sheeler, just a ninth grader out there, trying to leave it up ahead for Iwankum. Iwankum trying to shake loose of the defensive Ben Gutchow. Gutchow has been in his hip pocket as much as possible. Gutchow actually touched it last.
Yeah, he's got to be more physical, and he's started to do that now. And Gutchow in the first half sort of was allowing Iwankum to come to him. Now here in the second half, he's been more aggressive in trying to get to him first, realizing that he's got defenders behind him who are going to help him out.
Winchester Thurston trying to put together some kind of an offensive arsenal here in this second half. Really not able to get much in the way of possession time at all.
Well, their problem right now is that first pass, they're not getting any linkage whatsoever between the midfield and also the forwards. It's a connection that you've got to make that good pass, and it seems like every time they try to make that pass, there's a white jersey in the way to take the possession back.
To the middle. And again, that long pass is taken away by Avi Singh. Winchester Thurston has been guilty of trying to make those long connection passes, and it's just not going to happen. Another substitution. This time it's for Moravian Academy as Archie DeBage will check back in.
You also have a Winchester Thurston player who just went down at the middle of the field.
For Moravian, number 23, Archie DeBage.
That looks like that is Hoskrecht. He's just a freshman. 25 goals this year for him. Winchester Thurston lost that WPIAL championship game, and Hoskrecht was not available for them in that game. He missed that game due to injury.
Not quite sure what happened. If anything happened to him, it may have been something. Maybe a bloody nose, yeah. So he kind of just took a knee out near midfield, so he'll have to come off for the time being as he's attended to.
And credit, I didn't see who it was for Moravian, but credit one of the defenders from Moravian Academy for calling the attention to the referees to the fact that Winchester Thurston had a player down on the pitch.
Stops the clock with 18 minutes, 30 seconds left to go. Moravian Academy took a lead with 9:52 left to go in the first half. Again, they were awarded a penalty kick. Gennaro Mazzello, the sophomore for Moravian Academy, took the kick, got the lead for the Lions, and that's where we stand at 2-1. Here they try to work something up ahead again with Mazzella in the middle of it, along with DeBage. Mazzella will turn on it, but misfires.
Mazzella had the initial touch to try to play DeBage initially through, and when the clearance didn't go all the way out, Mazzella able to turn and at least fire something close to the net. It's one of those, if it gets on frame, it's one of those accidental plays where a team may not be expecting the shot, so it might sneak through. Another great cross to start that play off, though, from Mahatri.
Exact flip side for Winchester Thurston. Again, said it before, we'll say it again. The Bears just really never, not able to get much of anything mounted in this second half. Guilty of trying to make some long passes that have been taken away from them, and just really not been able to get much possession time as a result.
The frustration for them is when they've been in the midfield in the first half and they tried to dribble through traffic, they got the ball taken away. So now in the second half, they've been looking not to take their spaces quickly. They've been looking to play the ball early so they don't get the ball taken away off the dribble. And I think they have to find the happy medium.
Give and go work between Schlingerman and Tomokio to no avail. A nice play there by Massi Mamoli as he bounced that one off the foot of an oncoming Julius Iwankum. So it's last touched, and as a result of that, corner kick coming up, or excuse me, goal kick coming up for Winchester Thurston.
Mamoli's going to remember, if this game doesn't change on the scoreboard, he's going to remember this game unfavorably because of the penalty kick. But man, he's played a very, very solid game in the back.
It was an unfortunate bounce as he tried to settle the ball high of a line drive off a corner kick. Tried to settle it with his foot. It took an inadvertent bounce off his foot, hit his hand, and he was inside the penalty box, and so a penalty kick was awarded. He will clear it out of here right now. Again, going against the wind.
Disappointing when that sort of thing happens to you in a preseason game. When it happens on the big stage in the state championship game, it's even more of a thing that really can play with your head, and he's done very well to get that out of his head and play his game from here on out.
He won't come again, trying to make a run, but can't get away from Gutschau any longer to do that, but does get it last touch by Gutschau. Avi Singh up again to throw it in. Ori Wonkum, nothing doing there. Tomokio in the middle of things for Winchester Thurston. McWilliams will get it back in. Ori Wonkum. Massi Mamoli again right there with them.
Yeah, once he has stepped over and really helped out a lot more, we haven't really heard much of anything from Iwankum here in the second half. He and Gutschau have done a much, much better job of shutting down the right wing.
.65 minutes into the 80 minutes of the state championship for boys single A. And again, it stays 2-1 in favor of Moravian Academy. The team in the white with the red shorts. As you watch, the substitution coming in for Winchester Thurston. They'll get Grant Robinson back in the game, and Tomokio will come out. Rosinos will send it ahead. The Boz trying to fight through some traffic. But again, there's Mamoli to clear it away. Mamoli brothers in the middle of things right now. Alessandro wears number 8. Massi wears number 20. And Rosinos tried to make one last desperate run to try to keep him from going over the back line. Could not do so. Goal kick again coming up.
It's everywhere he tried to turn that time. He had nowhere to go. But watch this little run at the beginning in the middle of the field. Was able to use his speed to get by one, but there's always that other defender and never gets that clear opportunity to be able to cross the ball.
Well done, Nikhil. Challenge.
Why, Julius?
Bounce around, deflected back in. McWilliams will keep it back in for Moravian Academy. And now eventually taken out of there again by Alessandro Mamoli.
Buchanan trying to dummy that through, but nobody was making that run. Just has not got enough service in the ball.
Out of front, here is DeBage. DeBage with the left footer and finds the back of the net. Moravian Academy, no, I believe Moravian Academy. Winchester Thurston was looking for a whistle, but there was not one. That goal will stand as Archie DeBage deposits it in the back of the net, and it's a 3-1 lead.
And that was quickly on the counterattack. It was a good move by DeBage. We talked about how well all game long he has been able to find holes in the defense, and that time, as that play quickly went the other way, the ball taken away from Winchester Thurston in the middle of the field, it comes back the other way, the cross goes in, and there's DeBage in the middle, splitting the defenders, and the only guy was there on that backside was the left back. He can't get all the way over to try to play DeBage, and it's a one-on-one with the keeper. No chance whatsoever that time for Morgan Graham to stop it.
Number 7 for the sophomore from Moravian Academy, and the lead for the Lions grows to 3-1. 13 minutes left to go. So now you got to think there might be a little bit of a change of pace for Moravian Academy, but here they come back again with Mazzella in the middle of the field. He's got Iwankum on his right wing. Iwankum gets it back to the middle for Mazzella. Mazzella with the left footer will miss it just wide. Good give and go between Mazzella and Iwankum, but Mazzella just missed it wide.
Yeah, Mazzella just had the assist on the goal, and this time playing the ball wide. Iwankum does not make the move, and the defense, maybe a little surprised by that, allows a wide open player in the middle, that being on that give and go. And Mazzella looking for his 15th goal of the season. Got his 14th earlier on the penalty kick, but goes wide of the mark.
So maybe Moravian Academy will not quite let go into a little bit of a stall mode. They're still staying on the offensive attack. Iwankum again with that centering right foot of his, looking for Racinos this time, but it's cleared off his foot and out of his way by Thomas Petruba-Drozel.
I think they're doing the right thing right now. You can stall a little bit later. Right after you score the goal like that, you need to find out if Winchester Thurston is able to really recover from the situation. Try to get that knockout blow.
There's going to be a whistle here as a Bear is again on the deck.
It's Massey Mamoli.
So this will lead for an opportunity for Winchester Thurston. Let's see what happens. And the collision looked like he ran right, head hit the shoulder of Tom Fegley for Moravian Academy.
And that was a yellow card that was issued to Fegley, so he will have to sit for the next 5.
Just watching what Bob Hartman asking what he did, and the official gave the signal that he kind of led with that left arm of his, and that's what resulted in the yellow card. So he comes out with 11:48 left to go, and Derek Paul Schlingeman has it set.
I have to think this is going to go on goal. Otherwise, you'd want Schlingeman in the box.
From just inside of 40 yards. Does trying to chip it, but nobody's there. Chipped right over the top of everybody. Nobody could get a head on it. There was, Beck Buchanan was the closest one to it for Winchester Thurston, but he couldn't get high enough.
That's why I was surprised, because your best weapon aerially has been Schlingeman. He's also a great taker of free kicks. So when he took the ball from out there from 40 yards out, I figured the reason he was doing that was because he was going to take a shot at one.
Sectional Player of the Year. Had a goal against Bishop Carroll in the opener. Had a goal in the quarterfinal against Lancaster Country Day as well. And has a goal here in this championship. But Moravian Academy has countered his first goal with 3 of their own. And with 11 minutes left to play in the Single A championship, it's a 3-1 lead for the Lions. And now we're getting a whistle and a foul called this time against Winchester Thurston.
We'll have a conversation between the officials.
Yeah, I think this is the decision on a yellow card, and there it is. It's going to be a yellow card this time called against Housecrack for Winchester Thurston, so that's going to send him off.
The explanation will be now given to the opposite sideline, as Adam Brownholt will get to find out what Housecrack did. Let's see what he did.
It's at the end of the play. And it's going to come right here. That's what it was.
That's the
it was the step on the top of it.
Well seen by our official.
Yep.
And a warranted yellow card. A little frustration there.
So again, he sits now for 5 minutes as well. So we have a player from each side now sitting because of the 5 minutes. They're not short, obviously. That happens on the red card, not the yellow. But we'll see if Winchester Thurston can do anything with Buchanan out there. Rosinos at the middle of the field for Mazzella. Mazzella will dump it. Burkhoff will chase it. Burkhoff, left footer, bounces straight up in the air off a defender. Sheeler keeps it settled. Centering pass, cleared out, last touched. Corner kick coming up. And that will send Dale Burkhoff into the corner for the 10th Moravian Academy corner kick of the afternoon.
And it works more clock too, because now you take your good old time getting your center backs forward, get them in position.
We're 70 minutes in. It goes through the hands of Morgan Graham, but there's nobody there for Moravian Academy. Gutschow will clear it out.
Schlingerman actually got ahead to it to make sure there wasn't anybody who was going to be able to do anything with it. But again, Graham just runs right past the ball.
9:30 left to play here. We'll see that corner kick again.
That was coming with some good pace too.
Yes, keeper and player kind of in each other's way for Winchester Thurston's sake.
What you didn't see, though, was anyone making the back post run, which maybe you have somebody up doing that if you're not up 3-1 at this point.
There's Rosinos. Gives it back for Mazzella, who couldn't get there in time. And Gutschow's there to clear it away.
Well, the MO of this Moravian Academy team has been the balance that they have with their scoring. And once again, 3 different goal scorers today for them. Rosinos, Mazzella in the first half were able to find it. And DeBage here in the second half has given them the cushion that gives them a little bit more comfort with just over 8 to go.
Bob Hartman was talking about that with us before the game. Rosinos was their leading scorer last year. His goal scoring is down this year. His goal today gives him 20 on the year, but he's kind of become a little bit more of a marked man this his senior year, and teams are kind of focusing on him a little bit more. And he's kind of said that's actually been to their advantage. As much as he is their top scorer, it's opened up opportunities for other players because teams are so focused on Austin Rosinos.
It's great for your teammates because all of a sudden now, instead of have somebody focusing on you, there's a lot of attention elsewhere.
Another Winchester Thurston player shaken up on the play, and that is Alessandro Mamoli. He gets himself back up into play, but a little bit slow to get moving as Rosinos goes to work. Leaves it up ahead for Burkhoff, who's offsides.
And the second that Burkhoff started going towards that ball, and he's upset about something over there. He thought he was onside. I'm on the side of the guy with the stripes.
They usually win. They usually get the last lap, that's for sure, and we'll see if we can see it here.
And the thing that the player doesn't see is right before the ball's played, that defender is taught to step forward.
Yep.
And he steps forward, and the guy who initially would have been onside is no longer onside.
This one headed out of bounds, and it will be possession for Winchester Thurston. Beck Buchanan will get over there to try to get this ball quickly back into play. Mahatre will get ahead on it first, and Buchanan will move a little bit to his left and put it right back into play. To Lance Nichols. Nichols with the centering pass. Ultimately, Ethan Buck, who's been a recipient of a pretty quiet second half so far for Moravian Academy, in goal.
I was just going to say, have we called his name in the last 20 minutes?
Like I said, they have not really put any kind of a pressure on goal at all in this second half, despite at the time being down by 1 goal and now down by 2 with 6:20 left to go. 2 more substitutions for Moravian Academy. Jackson Ottman into the game for the first time. He's a sophomore, and Tom Fegley back into the game after serving his time with the yellow card.
Tom Fegley, Jackson Altman back in the game for Moravian.
Schlingerman up ahead for Mamoli.
Yeah, well done by Schlingerman, winning the possession and immediately turning to go up the field. They need to have a real sense of urgency.
I was just about to say the same thing. At some point in time, Winchester Thurston has to take a look up and say, you know what, time is running short here, boys. We got not just one goal to get, we got to get 2 goals. And now with 5 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in this game, they need to find another pace, and they need to find it quickly.
And the question is, do you change formation at some point? Do you take out one of your backs and push somebody forward?
Beck leaves it for Robinson. Fegley there to disrupt it.
The problem ends up being when you do that, it now leaves you a little bit more exposed. But Brasinas is the lone guy up top right now, playing at the striker position for Moravian Academy.
Mazzella leaves it for the left side for Burkov to run it down. Burkov gets it back. Burkov will leave it for Racinos. In the middle, Racinos will finish the day. Austin Racinos adds one more, or do they? Austin Racinos indeed finds the back of the net. Well played. Dale Burkov set it up, and Racinos finished it off.
And when you start pushing numbers a little bit more forward and you have guys who have to take a few more chances, you get a guy like Racinos who's fine in the middle of the field, just like DeBage earlier in the half. He ends up finding the correct place. A little bit off the left shoulder, a little bit off the right shoulder. A goal for each of his shoulders today for Austin Racinos.
And again, a ton of credit on the far side by junior Dale Burkov, who really set that whole play up. Fended off a defender, freed himself up, and then delivered the goods.
The width of the field comes into play, especially in this situation where Winchester Thurston having to chase a little bit more of the game offensively. And when you do that, you find yourselves exposed on that area.
So it's a 4-1 lead now inside of 5 minutes left to go. Exactly 5 minutes left to go with the time of the goal, as Austin Racinos gets his now 20th and 21st of the season. The corner kick coming up for Winchester Thurston. Schlingerman again got a head on it and actually collided with the keeper, Ethan Buck, but he's got the ball under his mitts.
Well, that ball ends up hitting the backside of his own player. I think it was Chris Porco who was in there also making the same sort of a back post run. Schlingerman got his head to the ball, and Buck actually was away from the goal. He had missed the initial play, and Porco was the guy who actually ends up stopping the ball from going in the net. Now we see some sense of urgency here on these corners.
Absolutely. With Hoskarek trying to force the action, and another corner kick coming up for Winchester Thurston. This will be their 8th. But again, now down by 3 goals. That sense of desperation is clearly hit for Winchester Thurston, but now down by 3 goals and inside of 4 minutes left to play.
And you got to understand how good this Winchester Thurston team is, and Moravian Academy just has played phenomenal soccer here this afternoon.
Yeah, they have clearly taken them out of the game. There were moments for Winchester Thurston in the first half where they looked pretty technically sound, but in the second half they just have not had much of opportunities at all. Moravian Academy now will send Ray Zalata into the game. Another a senior will get a chance to spend some time on the pitch in his final game. Opportunity. This is coach's best wishes. This is what Bob Hartman wants to do now. He's just going to get some guys some time on the field to finish off this state championship. Some seniors who might not normally get some playing time. Gabe Yitkin is getting into the game. PJ Scarperi is getting into the game. Tom Griffith is getting into the game. And William Werner is getting into the game. All 4 of those names, and the one I said before that, are all seniors who are getting a chance to play the last 3 minutes of the state championship as Moravian Academy has opened up a 4-1 lead.
There's Austin Racinos, who I have a feeling when we name a player of the game at the end of this one, I think his name may sneak to the top of the list.
He's certainly a candidate, you got to think. With 2 goals of the 4, and obviously in the middle of things quite frequently for Moravian Academy this afternoon.
Yeah, he's really backed up his stature as an All-Stater a year ago and will be an All-Stater again this season. Just a fantastic effort from him, and just the type of dominant player he's been. in his career here with Moravian Academy. For Winchester Thurston, this class of seniors that they have tied for the all-time record in program history with 52 wins coming into this one. They were looking to break that record with the state championship win. They're going to fall 1 win short of it.
Again, they got to the WPIAL championship game. They fall to Greensburg Central Catholic 1-0 in that one. Here's one, a blistering attempt right out in front, but again, up and over the top. Another missed opportunity for Winchester Thurston. As a result, Derek Paul Schlingeman with the rifle shot up close and personal.
But really the only places that they've been dangerous here today, Bob, has been on set pieces and situations where they've been able to get numbers in the box, and Schlingeman's been the main guy who has been the problem in that situation. He puts himself in good spots, knows when to pull the trigger, and that time just a little bit off the mark.
2 minutes remaining. Moravian Academy win their second soccer state championship. They won it in 2014. And now Bob Hartman brings his team back here in now his 19th season as a head coach. And he will take gold back to Bethlehem for the second time in program history. Another substitution will come into the game for Moravian Academy. Alex Taleo, another senior, will get some time here.
He's a popular guy off the bench, too. Every team has this guy. The guy who, when he gets in the game, everyone wants to see him do well because he puts the time in at practice. He gets out there on the field, and now he gets the opportunity to touch the ball as well.
Winchester Thurston working it back the opposite way. Schlingeman will quickly set it. The far side for Houskricht. Will turn inside of a minute left to go as Winchester Thurston will put it back into play. Again, we came into this game talking about Beck Buchanan and how hot of a goal scorer he has been, and he has been virtually quiet today.
I don't know that he had more than 10 touches in the second half, and they couldn't find him with the ball, and they really had a difficult time linking anything. It's been a very good game plan for Moravian Academy. The book on them coming in is a team that doesn't have many weaknesses, very skilled. They've proved it.
And now they'll watch the final 30 seconds tick down here at Hershey Park Stadium, knowing that they're going to take home the gold medal. District 11 champions and state champions as well.
And Winchester Thurston has gotten some of their seniors in the game also. You've got Ian Frank up there chasing.
Last touched by Frank. And so the final 10 seconds now will tick down. Goal kick was the award, and they will not bother to set it back into play. Moravian Academy is your champions in boys class single A. The final score, the Lions 4, the Winchester Thurston Bears 1. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with our player of the game and our medal ceremony when we come back to Hershey Park Stadium live on PCN.
Brought to you by Eastern Pennsylvania Youth Soccer, promoting the game for all kids. Get fit.
Time for us to take a look at our player of the game, brought to you by Lebanon Valley College. Today's player of the game, we talked about him, and who else? It is senior Austin Racinos. Player of the game is presented by Lebanon Valley College, listed #1 in Pennsylvania for job placement. Lebanon Valley College will get you career ready. Visit the campus and find out why their students are so successful. Undergraduate and graduate programs available for traditional and adult learners. Visit lvc.edu.